If you struggle achieving the perfect finish for your models, or if you're just sick of sanding by hand, I might have a treat for you today. I've bought a rotary tool for just 24 bucks on Aliexpress, so let's see how this tool performs in cleaning up resin prints, and we're also going to try it on a few other materials. Since I have no idea how to pronounce the name correctly, DSPIAE, who comes up with a complicated name like this? I will just call it rotary tool from here on. First, let's take a look at what comes in the box. We've got a package with the rotary tool itself, which is way smaller than I thought, and a box with the sanding discs, which go from 400 grit to 1000 grit. The tool comes in two versions. One comes with 10mm diameter sanding discs, and the one I got has 5mm diameter discs. But you can use both disc sizes with one tool. The sandpaper is glued to foam, so they do have some flex to them. On the backside there is an adhesive tape to stick the sanding disc to the connecting rod that comes in the box with the discs. Each sheet contains 96 discs, so that should last for a while. Now let's have a look at the tools package. It comes with a Type-C USB cable for charging, and the tool itself is in another separate small box. The box has a brief description of the tool's functionality on how to select the 3 different speeds, which are indicated by the RPM indicator, a battery charge indicator, and an overload indicator. And here is the tool. Like I said, way smaller than I thought, but that doesn't need to be bad. It's light, feels solid and well built, with a comfortable grip that promises to make those long post-processing sessions a breeze. The noise it makes is comparable to an electric razor. On the backside, where the charging slot sits, you also have a small Allen key to loosen and tighten the rod. The connecting rod has a 3mm diameter, so you can also use the tool for small drill heads or your Dremel accessories when they have a similar diameter. To get the sanding disc out, I just used the Allen key and pushed it a bit. Then I removed the adhesive tape and pushed the sanding disc onto the connecting rod. And with that we can finally try it out. One standout feature that makes this tool different from other rotary tools like a Dremel is that you don't have to hold it horizontally to the spot you're sanding, but vertically. With a regular Dremel you always have the risk to create even more indentations around the area you're sanding. We've got a few resin prints that need some cleaning and support removal. Let's see how the tool handles these tasks. This part has a lot of support marks that are perfect to test the effectiveness of the tool. And what can I say, it works perfectly. You can see though that it creates a bunch of dust, so better use a vacuum next to it and wear a mask. Or to mitigate the dust, you can also dip the sanding disc into water. I am impressed with how smoothly the tool glides over the surface of the prints. Then I grabbed a black primed piece because it's easier to see how effectively the tool removes the layer lines in no time. This was all done mainly with the slowest speed setting. And here you can see a direct comparison to the non-sanded part after about 10 minutes of sanding. Now we know the tool works pretty good for resin prints. How about FDM prints? And you can see it works too. In all of those tests, the motor never stalled, so I thought, as a last and hardest test, let's try it with a piece of wood. And that works too, at least to a certain degree. At some point I pushed so hard that the sandpaper ripped from the sponge while the motor was still running. To change the pads, you just rip off the old one and replace it. All in all, the tool delivers on its promises of precision and convenience for print post-processing. And considering the price, you can't do much wrong with trying this thing out yourself. And that wraps up our review. But before you leave, while cutting this video, I also saw they have another cool sanding tool that I already ordered that doesn't sand by a rotating disc, but mimics the motion of hand sanding, which means you can also get into 90-degree angles or sand round surfaces. So if you want to see that as well, make sure to hit the subscribe button and I'll see you in the next video.